Hi guys, thanks for watching Planting Paradise. I just picked up this new orchid here. I'm told it's a Cattleya. It's called Ethel's Paradise, and we're gonna go ahead and repot it today. It does look like the roots need to be cleaned up just a little bit, so I'll show you guys how I am going to repot this particular orchid. Now I do want to remind you guys that orchid is new to me, so a lot of what I learned is just off of research and Miss Orchid videos, who is absolutely phenomenal in her videos and how much knowledge she has. But this is something new that brings me joy, so I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully share that joy with you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna pull this pot out. You can hear the crackles. That means that the roots probably have adhered to the pot. I'm gonna pull it out and just take a peek and see what we have. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Okay. Ooh, it's still moist on the bottom. I'm glad I didn't water it. Okay, so I'm glad I'm repotting it because, as you guys can tell, there are a whole lot of roots here that are rotting. They've lost the sheaths here, which means that you only see this dead inner piece. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it up, and I'll be pruning all of the dead roots off. Alright guys, before I start pruning, I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like after I got most of the potting mix off. It looks like it was a lot of sphagnum, which, judging by these dead roots, this plant may not like. So I'm probably not going to use that. I did want to show you what happens if you accidentally break a living root. You see that green there? That was a big oopsie on my part, so I'm so sorry, plant. We will get you all potted up and fixed up. I had broken another little piece here. Most of these are just, you can see, dead. I actually found out where it was divided before. You can actually see where it was cut before, so that it can be divided and potted up on its own. Okay, so I'm going to actually take this off camera. I'm going to prune off these dead roots, and then we'll see what we have left, okay? Okay, as I started pruning, I thought about how it might be beneficial for you guys to actually see what I'm doing. So here, you can see that this piece is rotten. Well, that piece just fell right off, but this piece is rotten right here because it's nice and squishy. So I'm going to go ahead and prune it off. Again, shears, always alcohol first. Over here, again, you can see that if I pull on it, the sheath comes right off. There's some black underneath here. So you definitely want to make sure that you cut it off. Because I'm starting from the top, it actually just means that big chunks of it is just falling off. So that's good, I guess, saving myself a little bit of work here. So going down, if you leave the rotting pieces, that could actually spread. So I try really hard not to do that much as I can. Sorry, trying to figure out best way to cut this piece. Oops. Okay, see? It is actually so rotten that I could actually just loosen it right there so I could see where it's not doing well. I'm just going to do a big chop right here. Ooh, going for it. Ah! Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go ahead, go all the way around here. think I'm just gonna be brave and go for it. I think this whole area is just, yeah, I mean, look at those roots. Those are done for. So I think this whole area is just done for. I just want to make sure I'm not cutting into any living tissue. So I don't want to be cutting into the stalks here. So I'm going to try to go slow. But I think this whole area is just... Now the thing with Cattleyas is the newer stalks will actually produce nice healthy roots. So the old stalks, I don't think they do produce any new roots at all. So I think whatever I cut off are going to be from the older stalks, but the newer stalks will actually be providing most of the nutrients to support any existing stalks kind of going forward here. All right, I am going to take this off camera because it is a little bit difficult to kind of see what I'm doing as I'm, yeah. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, I ended up pruning off almost the entire root system. I don't think I went overzealous, although it's kind of like when you're tweezing and you just kind of keep going. But I did see a couple little creatures here, so I am a little bit concerned. What I am going to do is I'm going to be spraying the bottom with hydrogen peroxide to make sure we kill anything down on the bottom there. And then the top, I'm going to be spraying with a solution of mineral oil, soap, a little bit of dish soap, and water to make sure that we clean everything off. I took a careful look to see what creatures I had. This looks like just mechanical damage. But I think I saw some mealybugs, so definitely going to quarantine this plant. Gonna hope that it recovers, but I might just kind of soak the heck out of it. So, all right, let me go spray. This is my solution for the soap. The mechanical action of rubbing is actually going to be helpful as well to remove anything. So I'm gonna just gently make sure that I rub and coat the whole plant. And then on the bottom there, I do have a couple pieces here that I didn't want to rip off in case I do rip off the root as well. So I'm going to leave those pieces there, and I'm going to spray everything with just pure hydrogen peroxide, or sorry, the 3% that you normally get in stores. And then I'm actually going to just let this sit for like 15 minutes, and I did make a little bit of a mess of things, so I'll take the opportunity to clean up. Okay, I'll set a timer. All right, guys, so I have thoroughly rinsed and cleaned up the plant, the orchid. I also rinsed the roots. I rinsed off some of the sheets as well, make sure that there was no buggies hidden in there because I really don't like bugs. So we are now finally ready to repot. I went back and forth as to what kind of container I want, but I really want a clear container so that I can make sure that the roots are growing appropriately, especially because this is going to be a new potting mix that I'm using, so I want to make sure I monitor closely. What I did was I actually took a blueberry container from the store because they have these nice grooves at the bottom there that are holes, and I soldered some extra holes on the bottom for extra drainage and aeration, and I'm gonna go ahead and use the chunky mix. I'm not going to use any sphagnum because I want to make sure I get enough aeration in the roots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit on the bottom there. I'm gonna put this in, make sure it fits. I know that it is really small right now considering the size of the plant, but because I took off so much root system, I'm concerned about the roots continuing to rot. So I rather just see how long it takes for this orchid to grow, because from what I understand from the seller, it does not grow very quickly. So I guess I'll just have to repot it at some point if it does well. So what I want to do is, I can see that this is the newest growth. I know this because one is I cut off some of the flower stalks. The older growths have already flowered. This is a newer growth. There is no flower in there, and when it does flower, it will be coming from in between these two leaves, so I know that this is the youngest stalk. So I want to be putting that out towards where it has more room to grow, and the older stalks back against the edge of the pot. So it's going to look a little bit uneven, not completely centered, which I'm okay with. I'm going to go ahead and just fill in. You see I have a tray down here because I don't even want to chance it. I didn't want to Clorox and then put a plant on there, so I'm going to Clorox a lot when we're done with this video. Okay. So this is actually, I think, chunky peat moss. So I just learned, fun fact, that apparently peat moss is not sustainably harvested, so I'm gonna have to find an alternative for it for my Venus flytraps. But now I know to also stay away from this product. And this is, I guess, the charcoal. Never done that before, but when I was repotting this one, I did notice that this plant did have some charcoal that was hanging on to the roots, so it must already be used to it. I'm going to try to see if I can get some bigger chunks in there. That's the tough part about the chunky mix, is that it's really hard to kind of work the mixture in. There we go. I also don't want to damage the roots either, any more than I had today. Oops, I'm sorry guys, that was me. I'm gonna have to steal some from my container over here. Now you'll notice that if you had seen my other coconut orchid, the root system on this, the roots themselves are a lot thicker, so that means that it can tolerate chunkier mixes. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and skip this magnum. Probably was just a little bit too wet for this orchid, or, you know, the watering habits just wasn't what it was looking for. Not sure how it was watered before. Okay, I can actually break up some of this peat moss and use it to stabilize this plant here. Ah, look at that, it's standing on its own. Yay! Okay. Some last finishing touches. It's funny because I have another Cattleya that's growing in the same size container, but it is much smaller, so. Okay. But this is definitely getting quarantined until it proves itself bug-free. Okay, so we are almost done. So just taking a look underneath here. It looks like there's some spaces, but I think the root system will actually fill in quite nicely when the spaces, when the roots grow. And I think that over here where the newest stalk is, the root system is going to fill in this tab rather quickly. So this is it. This is the final product. We cut off a whole bunch of roots, and we ended up going from a similar pot size to this pot size. So hopefully that'll allow it to get a little bit more growth, and hopefully I'll see a flower next year. Okay, so final product. We'll keep them quarantined, and I'll provide an update in a couple months. Thanks guys for watching. If you guys have any suggestions, comments, please let me know. Otherwise, hope to see you next time.